take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. It's time!
It's Sunday, June 12th, 2022. This is the Church of MMA podcast. My name is Tabor Cragen.
My name is Mason Knight. This is episode 124, UFC 275 recap. After that, we jump into some MMA news, and then we talk about the Kattar versus Emmett preview show. But before we do all that, Tabor, where do we begin?
With our social media accounts, Mason, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at the Church of MMA. Guys, if you are not following us already, make sure you go and do it. We are posting funny memes, clips of the show every single day, trying to make you guys laugh. Hit us up. And if you can do all that, guys, go to our Patreon. $5 a month gives you a lot of exclusive content. We did a second service exclusive Patreon podcast last night. That was a lot of fun. We will be updating that more and more. So if you just want the content, $5, but there are upper tiers. $10 a month gives you a 10% discount on the Teespring store. $15 a month gives you a 20% discount on the Teespring store. And also that $10 and $15 tier gets you into our Church Coin betting competition. Bet alongside of us for this big, beautiful belt right here on the middle of the table. Guys, we need a Patreon subscriber to bet alongside of us in this next series. It's been a couple series since we've had a Patreon subscriber do that with us, and that's a lot of fun, man. It throws a wrench into this whole competition with the extra guy, and it's a lot of fun doing that. Guys, bragging rights are on the line for that. So make sure you hit us up there. And if you can do all that, make sure you're subscribed down below. Make sure you smash that like button. And also leave a comment down below. Hashtag for the algorithm. Guys, it helps us out so much. It pushes us up there. And if you can do all that, one last thing, leave a 5-star review on our audio-only platforms. We got Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. We're on everything, guys. So subscribe there. Leave us reviews there. We appreciate each and every single thing you have all done. Mason, last night's fight companion was a lot of fun. UFC 275.
God, what a card, too. What a card. Definitely fight of the year for Glover Teixeira versus Jerry Prochazka. That was one of the craziest and most emotional roller coasters I've ever been on watching a title fight like that. I mean, goodness gracious. What a performance by both fighters. I mean, at so many different points in that fight, I thought both of them were going to win the fight and finish it. And for Jerry to get it done deep in the 5th round, it's just absolutely crazy.
Yeah, let's just get right into it then. I mean, we're already talking about it.
Yeah.
Jerry Prochazka defeated Glover Teixeira. Round number 5, 4 minutes, 32 seconds into the 5th round. Less than 30 seconds left. And he taps Glover after almost getting finished by strikes himself early in that matchup. Absolutely incredible.
Incredible, too, that, you go to the judges' scorecard. One judge had it 2-2 going into the 5th, which unquestionably, up until that point, Glover Teixeira was winning the 5th. And then 2 other judges had it 3-1 Glover. Glover survives 30 seconds. He would have defended his light heavyweight belt, but Jerry was able to get the submission. And what's crazy about this, too, is the prop bet for a Jerry Prochazka submission, just submission, not even round 5 submission, was a plus 1,600. I could only imagine what a round 5 submission was, but absolutely incredible. Hopefully someone bet on that.
I'm sure somebody did. I'm sure somebody did. Threw $1,000 on it or something.
Crazy.
You imagine that?
Crazy, man.
Yeah, it makes me want to start spending some cheddar online, but I'm poor.
Washington will ever allow it. God.
They won't. They won't.
No.
Lame-os. Big old lame-os. The cool thing is, where I'm at in Longview, my phone thinks I'm in Oregon.
Well, you just cross that little bridge.
Yeah.
In,
I'm fucking there.
Yep, and you're there. Yeah, which is really nice. Convenient. But
Kill my addictions are about to start growing. My gambling addictions. No, but either way, man, that plus 1,600 is fucking insane. And I don't think anybody in the world was coming into this fight saying Jerry Prochazka is going to be the one to submit Glover Teixeira.
No, and it didn't really look like that throughout the fight either. I mean, when Glover was on the ground, obviously he was, implementing that top pressure. He did a pretty good job. Jerry did a good job of getting back to his feet in some of those rounds, some of those exchanges. But, I mean, Glover was doing what he does best on the ground. And it's just for Jerry to just slip that in, that choke in, and to see Glover tap. I mean, as I said, emotional roller coaster, and I really felt for Glover. It's awesome to see Jerry Prochazka. We all knew he would be a champ one day. He is now the undisputed light heavyweight champion. However, you know, for Glover to put on such a tremendous fight and for everyone to count him out against Jiri and be like, oh, there's no way he's going to be able to survive. He's going to get knocked out. And
and he survived.
He survived, man. I mean, his chin is just incredible. He is one of the most durable fighters the UFC has ever seen in this division. And at 42 years old, I mean, hats off to Glover Teixeira.
Both these men, really.
But again, Jiri Prochazka is the new champion. And, you know, Jiri was upset. We watched the post-fight interview this morning before we went live, and Jiri was not happy with his performance, said there was a lot of things that he could do better. But Glover did tweet out that, you know, he's like, hey, what do you think about a rematch? And Jiri did not shut it down. So that is a possibility. I know Jan is in the wings too, after beating Rakic kind of with the knee blown scenario. Mm-hmm. But what's going to happen? What do you think is going to happen in this light heavyweight division?
It's a very interesting question that you're asking right now. I don't know, to be honest. I don't think Glover is going to get the rematch. To be honest, 100. I just don't think he deserves it. He didn't defend the belt. This was his first title defense. He just won it. It's difficult. You know, Jan defended the belt at least once, then lost to Glover. Didn't get the immediate rematch. Now he did, just like you said, beat Rakic, quote unquote beat. I don't know who's next. Like, I'm gonna pull up the rankings right now. Like, who is in the wings? We do have Magomed Ankalaev versus Anthony Smith coming up very soon.
Yeah, I get what you're saying there, and I don't disagree with that take. However, styles make fights, and like, you have to look at just how incredible this fight was, how back and forth it was.
Both men had their chins tested constantly. I mean, Glover got wobbled, Jiri got wobbled. Like, it was an incredible matchup.
And I think right now, like, you know, there is some stock, obviously, with Jan Blachowicz and potentially taking on Jiri Prochazka. I think that's an intriguing matchup. You do have Ankalaev and Anthony Smith, but at the same time, man, that Glover rematch, I think I would be the most excited for just because of how good this first fight was. Now, if this first fight was boring and it wasn't all that good and it was a wrestling match and it wasn't entertaining, wasn't back and forth, I could see that, okay, yeah, he doesn't need a rematch. But it's crazy to think that Glover Teixeira at 42 was winning on all the judges' scorecards, going 30 seconds left, and he would have been champ. It does make for a good storyline, and I think it would sell probably a little bit better than an Anthony Smith or Magomed Ankalaev.
I agree with you there. In terms of selling the fight, I do believe the rematch would sell more, even than the Jan Blachowicz matchup.
Yeah.
Like, let's be real. I mean, unless, like, John Jones came back, like, that's it.
Then that's the caveat.
You know, like, if he came back and was like, fuck it, I'm not doing heavyweight, the UFC is just jerking me around too much, I can't do it, even though I put on all this weight, I'm going to make 205 again, then, like, that's the obvious fight to make. But really, other than that, you know, with all due respect to Glover, I don't think he deserves it. I think if he would have had a couple title defenses under his belt, you would have I would be sitting here arguing he needs the immediate rematch. But 42 years old, did just lose in the last 30 seconds. It's a tough case to make for him. But in terms of dollar signs, I get it. I think he might be the biggest dollar signs there. He might be the biggest payday for Jiri.
Well, and I think the circumstances surrounding it, too. I mean, yeah, you do have Ankalaev Smith. We've just talked about that. But Jan Blachowicz, yeah, he did technically beat Rakic. But, you know, he blew out his knee. So it's like, if Glover were to get that shot again, like, out of all the scenarios in the world, this one would be the one that makes sense.
Here's what I would do. If I was Mick Maynard, if I was Sean Shelby, if I was Dana White, I'd do Glover versus Jan, do that rematch. Because I'm going to be honest, I don't think Jan deserves a title fight off of that victory over Rakic because the way it happened, the knee injury. Get a solidified victory over a man that beat you and took your belt. You do Glover versus Jan, the rematch, and then you do the winner of Anthony Smith, Magomed Ankalaev versus Jiri Prochazka. If Magomed Ankalaev goes out there and KOs Anthony Smith in a vicious fashion, which very well could happen, or if he takes him down and dominates that man on the ground the way a Glover Teixeira did, I think a lot of people are going to be scrambling for Magomed Ankalaev to get a title shot there.
Yeah, well, I mean, he would deserve it at that point. I mean, what he did, the absolute destruction of Ian Cutelaba, not once, but twice. I mean, you know, I guess Santos 1.5 times. But the second time he made it sure. And then Santos as well. Yeah, so, I mean, Ankalaev has definitely got all rights to a title fight if he can defeat Anthony Smith.
And in the aspect of it gets new blood in there. It gets guys that, like, haven't had a title shot in there. Now Jiri's the new champion. That was his first title fight. Like, let's get some new names in this top of the division. If Magomed beats Anthony Smith, I'm totally fine with him leapfrogging Jan, leapfrogging Glover, and getting that title shot, so we can get some new blood, some new names in this light heavyweight division, because this is a division there's not really a whole lot of new names other than like Rakic and Ankalaev.
Yeah.
And now Jiri, the new champion. So it's very interesting. I'm very excited either way, because Jiri Prochazka is just that motherfucker. Like, it doesn't matter who you line up in front of him. That's going to be a big fight. That's going to be a highly anticipated fight. That's going to be a fight that could sell pay-per-views, in my opinion.
Well, and we always knew, too, from the very first fight that he had in the UFC, we knew he would be a star, and that's really what this division needs. You know, obviously there's great storylines with Glover and Jan, but they're not superstars in the same level that a Jiri Prochazka, a samurai warrior, like crazy man.
Viking samurai?
Can be, yeah, a Viking samurai. Yeah, exactly. Like, can be. So I think this is the best thing for the UFC and this division, that Jiri Prochazka is the new undisputed champ. So we'll see. We'll see.
Only time will tell, I guess. Do you want to get into church coin picks?
Yes.
Let's get into church coin picks. I made my change last night on the Fight Companion. I was like 5,000 church coin in on Glover. And I don't know. I don't know if it was because of the way the co-main event. I don't know if it was because of the way the Zhang fight happened. I was just like, I think Jiri's going to do something special. And I put my church coin on Jiri Prochazka. So I had 5,000 on Jiri Prochazka. That gave me a return of 2,500 and minus 200 when these bets were placed. It was, I almost thought I lost. I almost thought I was going to lose it all, because Glover was on his way to steamrolling that fight and winning it decisively. He even took Jiri down in the 5th, and then for Jiri to get back up and then to take his back and get the submission in that way. Absolutely incredible. Shout out to Jiri Prochazka. Shout out to Glover Teixeira. Absolutely fight of the year so far. My prop bet, I did change it as well. I had Jiri KO 250. Did not happen on that one.
Yeah, I think I had 100 on Glover Teixeira and lost that one.
Yep. And you also had Glover sub 100 church coin.
Yep.
Did not happen there for you either. So let's move on to the co-main event of the evening. We have Valentina Shevchenko with the split decision victory over Talia Santos. And I know everyone's saying 49-48 or 49-46 or whatever the fuck it was. So I went back and looked at the judges' scorecard. That judge that had it 49-46 gave Shevchenko 1, 2, 4, and 5. I don't know what that judge is watching in that first round. I don't see how in a million years you could give Valentina that first. The second, maybe. I thought Santos edged the second out. I had Santos 3-0 going into the 4th. I thought Santos won that fight. You, Mason, were saying last night at the Fight Companion, you gave Valentina the second, so you had a 2-2 going into the 5th.
Yeah.
And then Valentina did decisively win 4 and 5. I think that's very obvious to say, correct?
Yeah.
It really comes down, in my opinion, to that second round.
Yeah.
It's just interesting how that judge gave Valentina the first. I did not see that happening. Santos took her down. Santos dominated. Did she land the most damage ever on the ground? No, but control time needs to be a factor. I'm confused.
Yeah, I have no idea how you get 4 out of 5 rounds. 48-47 is fair. I thought the fight was very close, and had Santos won that fight, I mean, I put church coin on her. But, like, if she would have won, I would not have called it a robbery. I thought it was a close fight. But, dude, the 4-5 or the four rounds to 1 is just egregious. I don't know where the hell the judge was scoring there. It was just terrible.
Have you guys been noticing a trend, I feel like, of the second round and 5-round fights being the decision maker?
Mm-hmm.
Like, of the past couple months, I feel like it's always
I don't know if it's coincidence or if it's just, like, happening.
But it always seems to be round 2.
Yeah.
That is always the maker. It's very interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of people are arguing for open scoring, but in this situation, I don't even think that would have mattered.
I think maybe was it you or Mason that brought it up last night?
It was me, because they were
scoring. I was trying to say in this, like, for sure, but in this situation, what does that accomplish?
Nothing.
Because
in my opinion,
I think oh wait, I remember. I think I said everyone needs to take the seminar classes over and over and really get into the nitty-gritty of what scoring fights means and what criteria there is, because everyone seems to be confused. I mean, we saw this with the Holly Holm fight. I think that's what sparked the biggest
controversy.
controversy of. We need to get down to what are the judges scoring? How are they scoring? What are the exact ruling and criteria for that? I think that'll clear up a lot.
And I don't think the rules do that exactly. Like I think what the rules state is what does the judge see and what is his opinion on it.
Yeah, how do we?
So it leaves it too
improve
much
on
to
that?
him.
Any thoughts?
It's a good question. To be honest, I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head.
thought,
I think just changing the rules to specifically look for certain things. I think it's because it comes down to the judge. Like, what does the judge want more? Does he want more control time? Does it damage? Is it take exactly like there needs to be a set guideline that these judges need to follow.
It just seems there's too much wiggle room.
Yeah,
and it does typically seem to favor the champion. Sometimes I would argue.
Absolutely,
there's a championship privilege, I guess you could say.
Well, yeah, you're not going to completely exclude biases, especially when it comes to like champions and whatnot. I mean, we can do our best, obviously, in the sport, but I think that video that you sent me a few weeks ago, the Lorisenko in DC, did a good job of kind of explaining the judges' scoring criteria. And not just that, but also the idea of open scoring. It made good arguments opposing and in favor of it, but it's an interesting debate, interesting topic, but I don't know where it would have exactly helped in this situation.
Yeah. Shout out to NW. Thank you so much for showing up here in the chats, my guy. I had Santos 1, 2, and 3. I think Herzog standing up to fight the second swayed judge's opinion. I didn't agree with the stand-up either. Santos wasn't being very aggressive, but she wasn't stalling. Very fucking true, my guy. That's a great point there, Ant.
Yeah, I thought that was weird.
That was a weird stand-up.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. She's not landing the most damage, but control time is something. Like, look at the Conor McGregor-Habib fight. Mm-hmm. How much damage did Habib land in that first round? Slim to fucking none till the end of it.
Right.
But did Herb Dean stand them up? No, because he knew taking away a dominant position from a fighter who is primarily a wrestler and primarily a jiu-jitsu person would completely change the fight and could possibly sway the judges. So, very good point there by Ant W in the chats.
So
we really appreciate that one.
Thing is judges for sure.
Yeah.
Should we always have the same judge? Should we switch it around? Because you tend to have the same judges for championship fights, I feel like.
I think if we had more judges, it'd be better. Like, we have 3. If we had 5 judges, maybe it'd be a little bit different. Am I crazy for that one?
Well, we need to take away the 10-point scoring system, too. The
10 must?
Yeah. It's just like we need to come up with a new criteria, a new scoring for MMA in general.
Everyone seems to agree with that, but what is that? Like, what do we...
Right, I just commentate. I'm not smart enough to
well, that's not what I was trying.
He's not a rule maker.
Yeah, I'm not exactly. I don't know for sure. I don't know. I just like to complain a little bit about it because, like, I just think it's too archaic. The whole 10-point system. Like, I think there's something better that we could do for MMA as far as like, you know, control time, just groundwork, jiu-jitsu, because like there's a really good point to be made that if you get an almost finish on the feet, it's a lot different to judges than an almost finish for a submission on the ground, right? Like they don't have the same weight. They don't. Like if you almost knock someone out and they're on skates and then they fall down and they're about to finish the fight, you're like, oh, they definitely won that round. If someone almost gets a guillotine and almost wins the fight, you know, and just barely slips out of it, you don't score that the same as an almost knockout.
I think it depends on how they did during the round. Like if they were pressuring and more aggressive during the round, if they were on top and going for submissions and almost got it, then the judges tend to favor that. But you're right. If it's just back and forth fight, you know, just to pick them and then you go for the sub, sometimes it doesn't give you that edge to win the round.
Yeah. It is what it is. It is what it is, man. Let's move on to the fight. We've been talking about the scoring card the entire time. I got to preference this. There's going to be a big but after this. But first things first, I need to apologize to Santos because I was very disrespectful in last night's Fight Companion. I was saying there's absolutely zero I was pulling the Amanda Nunes Julian Pena thing. You know, so apologize. So I apologize to Santos for being so disrespectful. I gave you zero chance in that fight. If I had to put a percentage point on it, it was like 0.5. I literally thought Valentina was going to go steamroll in there. I thought Valentina was a stronger fighter. She'd be the more technical fighter. She'd be the better fighter on the ground. But I still think Valentina is the better overall fighter. I still think Valentina is a better fighter on the ground. I still think Valentina is the more technical striker. I still think Valentina is overall the better fighter. I think Valentina's getting in her own head, man. She's been fighting so conservatively lately. It's almost as if she's not trying to win the fight, that she's going out there just trying to keep the belt, if you understand what I'm saying. It's been very non-entertaining from Valentina. I feel like she's just going out there trying to do everything possible to not lose the belt. She's not going out there trying to win the fight. She's going out there trying not to lose the belt. And I think that's a detriment to her, because if she went out there and actually started putting combinations together and letting her hands go and being a little more loose up there instead of being so tight, I think she could have easily won that fight, and it wouldn't even have been a controversy on the scorecards.
Especially with Talia's being like one eye, really. I think that's what changed.
Especially with that.
I think that's what changed the tide of the fight, in my opinion. Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
I cut you off, sorry, but go ahead, finish your thought.
I was just gonna say, this is the first time we've seen Talia in championship rounds, and I think after this, she's gonna be used to it, get that cardio up. I mean, yes, it was the eye, but still, this is her first time we've seen in championship rounds. I think if she fought Valentina again and did what she did and improved, I think she could win.
I think it's fair to maybe potentially critique this fight, but we can't say Valentina Shevchenko has been boring or is not, because I mean, she finished Lauren Murphy, knocked her out in the 4th round. She finished Jessica Andrade in the 2nd round, and those were her last 2 title defenses.
Okay, I understand what you're saying.
Like, I get the critique of this fight absolutely, because it did feel like she was a little more hesitant.
It's the Liz Carmouche thing. Remember the Liz Carmouche title defense a few years ago? It was the same fucking thing. Valentina went in there so conservative and wasn't throwing, was just going in there trying not to. It was a big critique back then too, and this is the Valentina that showed up in this fight. Valentina just gave her too much respect, in my opinion. If she went in there and said, I'm the best, I'm better than you, and actually started putting combinations on Santos, there would be no controversy with the scorecards, because I truly do believe Valentina is the better overall fighter in every aspect. She just did not show it last night.
Yeah, and I think that's a fair statement to make. I do think Talia Santos is the real deal, though. I mean, is she as good or better than Valentina? Well, no, not technically, because she lost the fight. But I do think that she will be a good contender in this flyweight division. And that's what we need. We need more challenges and challengers for the undisputed champ, Valentina Shevchenko. And I think Santos put a really impressive performance in last night. And I was very happy with it. I mean, there were multiple times where she almost got the sub. But Valentina's defense is just too good.
I'd love to see a rematch between these two in the future, because this was the most interesting fight we've seen with Valentina in
For
most
sure.
recent
Yeah,
So
I thought she lost, man. Yeah. Straight up. I thought I had Santos 1, 2, and 3. I thought she won the fight. So Valentina just needs to do more, and she could get the victory legitimately, in my opinion. I disagree with the 4-1. I'm not going to say robbery. It's just so close. That second round is close. It's a coin flip from that
kind
one.
of the same. It's the Dominic Reyes, John Jones fight.
Absolutely. That's exactly. It's the same
champ
situation.
Clearly won the champ rounds, but you go back to the second and third rounds, and you're like,
Yeah. It's interesting. Shot W. Valentina is better now, and she's getting up there at 34. Santos is 28 and still evolving. Could be a much different fight a year from now. If I'm Santos' manager or team, I don't even push for the immediate rematch. Get 2 more fights experience and let Val go through 2 more 25-minute fights. Go into a rematch, much more experience. Absolutely 100% echo that sentiment. Absolutely. Let's get into church coin picks. So I took Valentina. I literally thought she was just going to go in there and steamroll her. It did not end up happening that way, but Valentina did get the split decision victory. I put 2,000 church coin on her, and that gave me a whopping return at a minus 700 of 28 church coin.
That's wrong. You should have 280 church coin there.
Are you sure?
Yeah, at 2,000 at a minus
up.
700. Yeah, you would have more than 28 church coin.
Maybe I forgot a zero.
70. There you go. Yeah, for me, I put 100 on Santos and lost that, but good performance. And I do agree with ANW. She is 28. She got plenty of time to evolve and develop even more. And I thought it was a great fight and much more competitive fight than what we've seen Shevchenko face in recent memory. So.
Yeah, 100%. So let's move on to the next fight. We have Zhang Wei Li and Joanna Jędrzejczyk 2, the rematch of the century. Was this the fight everyone was expecting? I think so. That first round was fucking awesome.
Yeah, it really was.
It was a lot of fun.
And it was just so, it was so meta. It was so crazy to see these two in the octagon again. I I was kind of like in the moment for that because it's just like it's so wild to see these two fight again, and it lived up. It lived up to the hype, and that spinning back fist by Zhang Weili was absolutely beautiful, perfectly timed, right in the back of the neck there, and that's all she wrote, man. I mean, it knocked Joanna out.
I think she could have gotten back up.
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think she tried and then she just put her arms out and said, "Okay, I'm not getting up."
The second she hit the ground, you could see her eyes were open. I think she was conscious, but I think she was like, "No."
No. You could tell she was like she tried for a second and was like, "Nope,"
and then just
I'm not gonna be able to
just
do
gave
this.
up.
Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. Incredible knockout and finish by the former champion, Zhang Weili. I was not expecting that. And Joanna looked fantastic in that first round, too.
Yeah, she did. And, Joanna, it's really sad, too, because, Joanna has been so much fun to watch in this strawweight division over the course of her career. She did leave her gloves in the octagon. Joanna has retired. I wish her nothing but the best because, she has had some of the most entertaining fights, former champion in the UFC. So shout out to you, Joanna. Thank you for everything you've done, all the tremendous fights that you've put out. It's been an honor watching your career form. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. It's going to be sad not having her in the division anymore. I mean, we've kind of had that over the last 2 years. But, I mean, people really missed her, man. Like, she is a huge number turner in this division.
Yeah.
I mean, former strawweight queen is just sorry. My allergies are kicking in. I'm trying not to sneeze. It's unfortunate, man, because everyone loves Joanna, and she's made her impact on the strawweight division in the UFC in general. So, former Hall of Famer for sure.
Absolutely.
Question for you guys. What do you think is next for Weili? Should she wait for the Rodriguez fight? Or what is next? She's kind of in a weird position. She lost to the former champ twice in a row, and now she's kind of wait for the division to go out. Like, what is going on with?
Yeah, you either do a couple things here. Please, I don't care who it is. But it needs to be more entertaining than that Rose Namajunas Carla Esparza fight. So if it's going to be Weili Zhang or Zhang Weili. You could give her the next shot. Marina Rodriguez probably deserves it a little more. I did agree with Tabor last night on that take. But Zhang Weili versus Mackenzie Dern, I think would be a great fight, number 2 and 4. Or
because you're not going to do the Rose Weili trilogy. I mean, not yet anyway, right?
No.
It's got to be for a belt. It's the only way that trilogy happens.
Yeah, but if Marina Rodriguez does get the shot, then I mean. Maybe Zhang would just have to wait, and then you would do Dern versus Rose for the number 1 contender. I mean,
it sounds like Zhang might get the next shot because Dana was saying that was essentially a number 1 contender fight with Joanna on her.
Yeah.
Which is insane in my opinion because Zhang's coming off a 2-fight losing streak. Yes, they're both title fights. I know that, but she was on a 2-fight skid. Joanna hadn't fought in 2 years since the first Zhang fight. It was interesting how that was the number 1 contender fight. And I know people are going to hate this take, but I think Rose deserves the immediate rematch. I might be a little biased because Rose is like my favorite female fighter, but defended her belt multiple times. Multiple-time champion. I don't want to see the fight. I still haven't seen the first one.
That's what I was going to say. Do me a favor and go watch the 25-minute fight.
I know no one wants to see it. No one wants to see it, but it's like...
You're not going to do the Zhang trilogy yet. Like,
you can't do the Zhang trilogy with Rose. Does Rose deserve an immediate rematch with the decorated past that she has? Maybe. I don't know if people are going to want to see it, though. So maybe you have to do Zhang Carla. Maybe you have to do Marina Carla. I don't want to see Zhang get the fight. I don't think she deserves it over Rose. But if neither one of those girls are getting it, it has to be Marina.
It would be interesting too because Carla Esparza and Marina Rodriguez have fought. They fought back July 25th of 2020, and Carla Esparza did get that win. So it would be a rematch between those two if you were to give Marina Rodriguez that title shot. But it appears to be that Carla Esparza has fought pretty much every single one of these top girls. And Marina Rodriguez beat Mackenzie Dern not too long ago, so you're not going to do that fight again. So, yeah, I mean, we don't have a lot of options here. Everyone has fought everyone in this top 5, I feel. So, yeah, someone's going to have to fight Carla Esparza again.
I wouldn't be shocked if it's Zhang. Why not? Because she got the big finish. Dana's like, I want someone to knock this bitch out. send her in there with Zhang.
Maybe.
Well, and if Zhang wins, I mean, there's the Rose rematch. You could do Dern. That'd be a fun fight. Marina Rodriguez. I mean,
if
those are all
Zhang
more.
wants to stay active, maybe she fights down and fights Yan.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see it happening, but if she wants to stay active while she waits for that shot, I mean, why not?
Loser leaves China and never returns. No?
Yeah. Moving on.
I think there's time. Yeah, I don't know, man. I like.
It's a tough one. It's a tough one.
It is.
It's just because you have such a stinker up there at the top, like with that last title fight. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen in the future, to be honest.
But I think out of all the competition, I'd actually, believe it or not, like to see Zhang Weili. She's been working with Henry Cejudo, Triple C, in that wrestling.
We saw that implemented there. It was nice.
Definitely saw it implemented. I think she'd be able to defend the takedowns effectively against Carla Esparza, get back to her feet, and make it more of a barn burner, a fun 25-minute fight. So, yeah, give Zhang the next shot. I know that doesn't make a lot of sense coming off a 2-fight losing streak, but she looked great against Joanna, and I think she'll put the pressure on Carla Esparza. Zhang is not that kind of fighter to just sit and wait for 25 minutes.
Yes, absolutely. 100% echo that.
That's what I respect about her is her, I wouldn't say aggressiveness, but pressure. Is that the right word I'm looking for?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Let's get into Church Coin picks. I put 2,500 Church Coin on Zhang, and that gave me a return of 1,515 Church Coin.
Yeah, I put 100 on Joanna and lost that one.
All right, let's move on to the next fight. We have Andre Falhio with a second round KO. Oh, wait, no, he got KO'd in the second round by Jake Matthews. My bad.
Dude,
this fight
hell.
was insane.
Yeah, but Jake Matthews, I mean, Andre Falhio, this is like his 4th or 5th fight this year. It's absolutely insane. I mean, the most active fighter in the UFC and has looked damn good in the process. But Jake Matthews going out there and just looking so crisp and so clean with those strikes, man. Perfectly timed, perfectly placed. Those combinations were just beautiful. I mean, this guy was on fire last night, and he showed out. He impressed the hell out of me, Jake Matthews, man. So shout out to you, because Andre Falhio has messed up a lot of guys in these last couple months, but Jake just put it together beautifully.
Yeah, absolutely. I was very impressed by Jake Matthews' hands. I mean, he's evolved his game so much. I mean, this guy was primarily a wrestler, primarily a jiu-jitsu guy, and to go in there and bang like that last night and to look so clean on the feet, like he essentially landed every single shot he threw in that second round.
Yeah.
Incredible.
And he had Falhio in a lot of trouble in that round and then just got the job done. So, I mean, shout out to Jake Matthews. Just a masterclass performance. Just, I would say the most impressive performance just on based who his opponent was and just how sharp he looked out there. I mean, God, it was nice. It was a great fight.
Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. We did not bet on this fight, so there was no Church Coin on the line for their but incredible matchup nonetheless.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the opening fight of the main card, Jack Della Maddalena versus Ramazan Emeev with the first round body shot KO.
Yeah. Did not take too much time here. Jack Della Maddalena lit him up. Just lit him up, dude. I mean, when you finish a guy through with a body shot, I mean, you're the real deal.
Yeah, after almost getting finished himself.
Yeah.
There on the ground. And to get back up and then just start unloading on him. Absolutely incredible. This man's hands are some of the best I've seen at welterweight in a very long time.
Yeah.
His boxing is absolutely incredible. So I'm very excited for this man's future. It's only his second fight in the UFC. Had the first round KO in his last fight. Has the first round TKO body shots in this fight against a savage Russian wrestler in Ramazan Emeev. This is his biggest step up in competition today.
Oh, unquestionably. Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see him in this welterweight division, see what he's able to do and his potential. Robert Whitaker was in the crowd, too. Did you guys see that?
Mm-hmm.
UFC 275. So Robert was there cheering on the Aussies, and he got it done, man. Looked great.
Very excited. Very excited. The Aussies showed up on that main card. So I think we both took Jack, right? Yeah. I took 500 Church Coin, give me a return of 370 on Jack Della Maddalena. A couple more wins, dude. This guy's going to be slotted in the top 15 pretty quickly.
Oh, for sure. I'd like to see him matched up with a top 15 with maybe 1 or 2 more wins. I put 100 on Maddalena and got 78 Church Coin in return.
All right, let's talk about parlays, my man. So I had Glover, Shevchenko, and Zhang for 500 Church Coin. I should have changed my parlay, but I don't think you can. Once the fights start,
once the fights start, you can't change
you're
your
fucked.
parlay.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Unless the fights have not started yet.
Yeah.
But As soon as one starts, yeah. My parlay, I had to do an all-in parlay for all 6 of my fights. I had Glover, Santos, Joanna, Cop, which did not happen, Medellini, and Brendan Allen. And, the only 2 to win are Brendan Allen and Medellini. So, or Mandolina, I should say. But
it is what it is.
Rough.
Yeah.
Rough night.
Let's get into new Church Coin totals coming in to end off the series here for the Church Coin Championship belt. I had started off the night with 3,552 Church Coin, and I netted a positive of 3,855. Now my new total is 37,407 Church Coin. I'm not gonna lie, it was the first week I hit that big parlay, and I just coasted from there.
Yeah, it was a great outing from you. Me, I had 4,000 Church Coin left. Lost essentially all that. I ended with 316 Church Coin. So yeah, real rough.
It is, I'm not trying to rub it in, but
No, you have to.
Shout out to the new Church Coin champion here.
It has been a while since you have gotten that belt, so I understand. I understand the celebration. I would do the exact same thing.
I don't know why this is working.
Top arrow. There you go.
Whatever. Anyways, before we move on to our MMA news segments, I just want to give a quick shout out to the chat. We did have a few chats that I want to read real quick. And W, we've seen Tony and Joanna face down in back-to-back months. Pretty crazy. Absolutely.
Yeah, wow.
Very true. AJ Wolf, Wei Li will be a 2-time champion. I agree with that, especially if she gets a shot against Carla. I'd take her in that fight. And W, Dana said winner is going to fight Carla. True, he did say that. I think we get Carla versus Zhang and Marina versus Rose. Zhang will get the title shot anytime she wins a fight. UFC really wants that red money.
Yeah, and that's actually
true.
That's a good point with Rose and Marina, because I do remember Dern saying that she wants to take her time and work her way up to a title shot. So yeah, you give Rose and Marina. That's a great fight. That's gonna be a
and Marina's
banger.
not going to do what Carla did. Wait.
No.
She's going to fucking put the pressure on Rose. So Rose is going to have to do something about that.
If Carla does wait, I guess you could do Rose Dern and Zhang Marina for the number 1 contender, and then next one gets the shot if Carla waits.
I don't
sense,
I don't think she will wait. I think she should take on Zhang right away, and then you do Rose Marina. That's what I'd like to see.
Yeah, it's understandable.
That's a fun fight right there.
Absolutely. Let's move on to MMA news, Mason. All right, so it was announced last night on the pay-per-view broadcast that Kamaru Usman is set to return against Leon Edwards for UFC 278 in August, late August, I believe. I don't remember the exact date. I think it was the 20th or something like
15th,
that.
15th, maybe?
15th, whatever. It's in August. Shocking, actually, because we just talked about, like, 2 weeks ago, how we didn't know when Usman was going to be ready. We didn't know if there was going to be a interim championship, interim title shot coming very soon with maybe a Khamzat Chimaev and Leon Edwards, but it did get confirmed that Usman is ready and he will be back mid-August, sooner than I was expecting. I was thinking September, October for Usman, maybe November, depending on the hand injury, but he must be healing well.
Yeah, and I'm glad too. I definitely didn't think we needed an interim belt. I think we would give, under the circumstances with the hand surgery and everything else, I was fine if we were had to push this fight back until November or December. But Usman is obviously at full health here with the tendons in his hand. And Leon Edwards, I'm really happy for the guy. For years now, you guys know I'm the biggest shill for Kamaru Usman, my favorite fighter in the UFC. But, I've been shilling for Leon Edwards for a few years now, being like, this guy deserves a title shot. He deserves to get that payday. He deserves to get that, the welterweight belt. If he can beat Usman, and he's finally getting that opportunity. I'm very excited for August. I'm excited to break down that fight. I'm excited for the pay-per-view and the lead-up for that. And it's about damn time for Leon Edwards. So I'm happy as a clam right now.
I mean, it'll be 8 months since, by the time this fight happens, it'll have been 8 months or 7 months since Usman's last fight. I think if the champions, usually for the most part, we all know the UFC and Dana want the champion to fight at least twice.
Typically, yeah.
Typically,
unless
yeah.
you're a heavyweight, yeah.
Then he wants Francis to fight every 2 months,
Yeah.
But it is what it is there. Either way, I'm actually shocked they didn't go the route of an interim title shot. I wonder if the UFC forced Usman's hands when, hey, either you're fighting Leon now or no later than August, or we're doing an interim shot.
I don't think so. I mean, like, come on, we got to look at the track record of Kamaru Usman. This man has been so incredibly active as a champion, defending his belt. It's like, dude, when you deal with a severe injury in your hand, dealing with ligaments, and if you fight too fast, you could ruin your career forever. I mean, if you don't have that grip strength, I mean, that's so much of what a fighter is. That, like, if the UFC had pressured him, and if I was Kamaru Usman, I would have been like, dude, fuck you. I gotta heal. I gotta completely heal up. I am the champion. I deserve a little bit of time. It's an injury. It's not like I'm being lazy and don't want to take 2 fights. It's the circumstances surrounding what I'm going through.
Which is why I'm surprised that they didn't do an interim, because I thought they would, especially after waiting this long. I mean, we all know the UFC does not want to put a pay-per-view together unless there's a title attached to it. And I think they were struggling to find someone to fill in that August card. I mean, you don't have a Francis Ngannou. There's no heavyweight belt. Like, there are champions that have been fighting recently. We're about to get Alexander Volkanovski is about to fight twice in the last 4 months. He was gonna be struggling getting that August card filled with something.
Well, yeah, especially with International Fight Week, July 2nd. You
They
got a
have
couple
2
title
pay-per-views
fights there.
They have 2 big pay-per-views in July. So I'm actually happy they got this together. I'm glad. I hope Kamaru's coming 100% into this, because he's gonna need to, man. If he's even like, let's just say he's 90% coming into this Leon Edwards matchup, that's going to be really rough for him, because Leon Edwards needs 100% of your respect, because that guy is a legitimate threat to Usman, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Leon Edwards is the real deal. You don't go on a 9 or 10 fight winning streak and not get the proper respect from people in this division. I mean, Leon Edwards is a great fighter, and I'm very much looking forward to that matchup. I really am. I'm excited for August.
It's finally happening, dude.
I know. It's just like, I hope it doesn't turn into a Habib Ferguson situation where we just always constantly, get announced, we're getting close to the fight, and then something happens where Leon doesn't get a shot. I really want to see this fight happen, come to fruition.
Ant W says, I like Leon in this fight. Gun to your head, who you guys taking?
But Usman.
I agree.
Yeah. Gun to my head, I'm going with Usman. But, it's going to be an entertaining fight, and I'm not going to be disrespectful to Leon Edwards. Can Leon Edwards get it done against Kamaru Usman? Absolutely. But if you're giving me the hypothetical of gun to my head and I had to choose one, it's Kamaru Usman.
Goes down to the ground, Usman stays on the feet. Maybe it's closer, but I'm still leaning Usman with that Trevor Whitman boxing, that jab. I don't know. It's interesting. Leon's probably got his best bet on the feet.
Usman just goes out there and performs like Rose.
Stop it.
Trevor
Please
Whitman.
don't. Please don't. Ugh.
Yeah, how was Trevor Whitman not like freaking the fuck out in the middle of that fight? What was the corners like in that?
The corners were like, "Yeah, you're doing
You're
it.
doing
You're winning
great.
the rounds.
You got it. You're up 4-1."
It was a weird night. Let's put it that way.
Oh man. Let's move on to other MMA news. This one actually was a bit of a curveball in my opinion. Dana White has come out and said he supports the idea of MMA becoming an Olympic sport.
Yeah. Interesting. For me, it's not that I am opposed to it. I just think like we do it on an international stage already, where the UFC has people from literally around the world, from Gabubustan, where I'm like, I have no idea where this place is, and this guy's
So
coming out.
disrespectful.
No, that's not a real place. So I was just like, I'm just saying like a random country, because like I have no idea where half these places even are on a map. But like, we literally have people from around the world fighting already. So I don't think you need to make it an Olympic sport. However, an Olympic sport that I think would be really cool is like jiu-jitsu, like a jiu-jitsu tournament for like the best jiu-jitsu practitioner in the world. I think that'd be fun. That'd be a really cool idea. And I know they do that to some capacity
ADC
as well.
and I think it's IBJJF or something like that.
Yeah, I just don't know if like we need mixed martial arts in the Olympics, because we already compete on a world stage already. But I mean, whatever. I wouldn't be mad if they put it in the Olympics, but I just don't necessarily think it's necessary.
I think that brings more eyes to the UFC specifically.
Yeah, that's true.
And other
That's a good point.
organizations, which brings more fans. So
Yeah.
maybe more fans, more ticket sales, more money for fighters. I don't know.
That's
I
actually
think
a really good point.
It would put the sport in front of more eyeballs.
Yeah.
I mean, who's an NBC that does the Olympics rights for the next like 15 or 20 years? or some
Maybe
shit?
more eyes brings more fans and more attention to fighters like Leon Edwards, who I feel don't get the respect they deserve. So that's a a pro for.
Yeah, that's
it,
a
I
really
guess.
good point.
The only thing is I think you'd have to, like, how would you do that? How would you structure it? I mean, because if it's a tournament and you have guys going in there beating the fucking piss out of
Right,
each other, like,
right.
how do you do the next fight?
Well, and then like, what is the Olympics going to take course over an entire year? Where it's like, you know, you're in a Grand Prix.
I think what it would do is it would water down the sport a lot. Like, they'd be wearing headgear. There'd be like 2-minute rounds, and you'd only get like 3 rounds, no matter what. I think it'd water the sport down a lot. I don't like the idea, to be honest, because I do think, and if you did do it, and the UFC athletes wanted to become Olympic athletes and fight for that medal, you know, that would essentially put the UFC in a standstill for 3 to 6 months.
Yeah, at least.
At the very least.
Yeah. That's why for me it's like if we want to do like jiu-jitsu, you know, like I would like that a lot better because less chance of or less risk of getting injured. Yes, that is still a potential, but you know, you can roll around in the mats typically and then go take a fight if you're healthy, but I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily like the idea of MMA in the Olympics.
Interesting. We'll end it on this. Ant W, MMA will never be an Olympic sport because there's no amateur committees. It takes a lot of structure to have a world-level amateur competitions. Yeah, if they want to do amateurs only for the Olympic stuff, that's cool. But, I mean, then you're going to have lawsuits on your hands because pros are, like, look at basketball. All the pros are playing. So it's just an interesting situation. I don't think it's ever going to be an Olympic sport, but I agree with you, the jiu-jitsu aspect. I'd love to see that. Let's move on to a review show. All right, the highly anticipated matchup, main event of the evening on ESPN and ESPN Plus. So hopefully we get a whole lot of eyeballs coming into this fight. We have Calvin Kattar coming in at a -232 at +190. Josh Emmett for 5 rounds at 145 pounds. Oh my goodness, Mason! Immediate reaction to this line. Calvin Kattar coming in as a big favorite.
Yeah, big favorite, but man, after his last performance, it's kind of hard not to give him that. You know, Josh Emmett. It's been a little while since I've seen Josh Emmett fight. I think Josh is one of the best fighters in this featherweight division. He's so much fun to watch, so entertaining. But at the same time, like Kattar has looked good as of late as well. This is a matchup I cannot wait for. You know, let's see. Josh Emmett's last fight was against Dan Ige. He beat him via decision. But you know, Dan has been on a bit of a skid recently, so that win does not hold up as well. But damn, Calvin Kattar against Giga Chikadze, that was such an incredible bounce back victory from Calvin Kattar. Absolutely dominated that fight. Looked really good against a terrific striker. I actually agree with this line here. I got to be honest here. I think Calvin Kattar should be the heavy favorite. I think it might be a little wide. I would probably do like a -185 to a +155 in Josh Emmett. But yeah, I love this matchup. You know this is going to be a war, dude. These guys are going to stand and bang, and I do not foresee this going all 5 rounds.
Really? Okay. This is a very interesting matchup in my opinion because we all know Kattar has got the technical ability. Technical skills-wise, he's the better fighter than Josh Emmett. But Emmett's got that power.
Yes.
Like, he could put your lights out with one fucking shot.
Yep.
Does Calvin Kattar's chin hold up for 5 rounds getting hit with those power shots?
Yeah, I mean, it's a different aspect than, you know, dealing with a guy like Max Holloway
Absolutely.
who will pepper you for 5 rounds, but doesn't necessarily have that Josh Emmett knockout, holy shit, one-punch power. So it will be interesting to see how Kattar responds to that. However, Giga Chikadze is a very dangerous striker as well and has that power and that capability to knock you out.
And the kicks.
And the kicks.
Emmett doesn't have the
man.
kicks aspect.
So it's very interesting. I think Calvin Kattar, I got to be, I hate this. I hate this because Josh Emmett, I feel like, has been so overlooked in this featherweight division for so many years.
He's finally getting the big matchup.
Yeah, he's finally getting the big matchup. He's a fighter who definitely deserves it, who has gone through a lot of adversity in his career over the last couple of years. This is a very tough matchup for him. And had I not seen Calvin Kattar take on Giga Chikadze the way he did, I'd probably lean more to Josh Emmett's side, but man, after that performance, it's really hard for me not to pick Calvin Kattar here in this fight. But Josh Emmett brings a lot to the table, 17-2, has got that knockout power, has got that tough grittiness, who will constantly move forward too. This guy does not sit back. He does not sit on his heels. He's constantly pressing the pace, moving forward and just throwing combinations. It's going to be a hell of a fight, man.
God, I can't fucking wait for it. I'm going to be honest. Like, I think you're absolutely right. War. This has Fight of the Year written all over it.
Yes.
Like, I don't know if it's going to be Fight of the Year. I don't know if it goes all 5 rounds. I don't know if somebody gets a knockout. I don't know if Calvin Kattar just pieces him up for 4 straight rounds and does another god tier performance like he did in his last matchup. I don't know if Josh Emmett lands with the power and flatlines Calvin Kattar. All I know is I'm excited and I cannot wait for this matchup. I'm very, very excited for this one. It's just got fireworks written all over it. My heart and my soul is leaning Calvin Kattar. I think this is going to go all 5 rounds. I think it's going to be a war. I think it's going to be an instant classic. I think both these men are going to get $50,000 by the end of it. I think like we saw Dana last night freaking out on his Instagram going, I'm giving both of these men their show and their win money, and they're both getting bonuses. Bonuses are going to be flying out my ass like crazy tonight. Like, I think we're in store for another one
I
that,
agree.
dude.
I agree. I think it's going to be a tremendous fight. And I hope Dana does pay Glover and Jerry because that was a great fight. But nonetheless, Calvin Kattar, Josh Emmett. I think I got to go with Kattar here too. I kept going back and forth. I initially was going to go with Emmett, but I just think Kattar is just so good, man. He's improved so much and has learned so much in his fighting career after taking on Max Holloway for those 5 rounds. I got to go with Kattar here. I definitely think Josh can get it done, and I would not be shocked. I don't love the line here to -230. I think it's a little steep, but I am going to go Calvin Kattar here. I'm going to put 460 church coin on Calvin Kattar for the win.
As a betting man, Josh Emmett sounds incredible.
Yes.
At a +190.
Yeah.
Like there's a really good chance you can make some good cheddar here. I'm leaning Kattar, dude. Just the technicality, the head movement, the footwork, the crisp, clean boxing. I think he's going to piece up Josh Emmett. I think Josh Emmett's going to land, though. I think he's really going to test Kattar's chin. Does Kattar's chin hold up over 5 rounds? I think historically, a lot of people are going to say yes. But I don't know if he's been hit with the type of power Josh Emmett can hit him with. Very interesting matchup. Do not be shocked if this fight ends at any moment, guys. But I am also taking Calvin Kattar. I'm going to put 1,500 church coin on Kattar at the -230. Prop picks. I think this goes all 5 rounds. I think this is a war. I think it's an instant classic. I wouldn't be shocked if it's a split decision. I'm going Calvin Kattar decision, 200 church coin.
All right. I think I will go. I'm going to hedge here a little bit. I'm going to go Emmett, KO. I'm going to put 75 church coin on that.
All right. So let's move on to the co-main event of the evening, a matchup that should have happened a few weeks ago, but now we are finally getting it. The highly anticipated matchup between Donald Cowboy Cerrone and Joe Lauzon.
Who will be the first fighter to get their 17th loss? Right?
Are they both 16?
Yeah, Donald Cowboy Cerrone, legendary career in the UFC, has had a ton of just really fun fights. He's 36-16, coming in at -170. Joe Lauzon, 28-16, coming in at a +145. It's been a few years since Joe Lauzon has fought. I think we're edging 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Donald Cerrone has not fought in about, a year and a half, 2 years?
Since the finish with... what's that kid's name?
Alex Morono.
Alex Morono, yeah.
He got finished in the first round via KO. So, yeah, man, this is a Legends
This is a retirement fight.
Yeah, and definitely
This is a retirement fight, dude.
The loser will obviously
Both of them.
retire, or both.
I wouldn't be shocked.
Both could retire here.
I think both of them are retired. Joe Lauzon said multiple times, even before this fight fell out a few weeks ago, Cowboy got sick. Joe said he's willing to fight multiple times.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with Joe if he wants to stick. If Joe gets the victory, beats Cowboy, I'm okay if he wants to fight 1 or 2 more times.
Sure.
Fight Jim Miller.
He would be on a 2-fight win streak. So
yeah, why not? But Cowboy, win or lose, Cowboy, I think it's time to ride off in the sunset.
On a horse?
On all due respect to him. I love Donald Cowboy Cerrone.
Well, apparently he's got an acting career with the Daily Wire. I guess he's a cowboy now with Gina
I'm
Carano.
cool. I want to watch that movie, actually. I wouldn't mind seeing it.
We'll see.
What's it called? What's it called again? High Noon?
Cowboys and Mandalorians.
Indians?
Doesn't like Harry Potter, but wants to watch. It's fine, Bo.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how his acting chops are. You never know. I might be shocked, but I'm probably not going to be.
Hey, if he's
as
playing
far
a cowboy,
as a fighter
it'll be easy for him.
here, I'm gonna go Joe Lauzon here. I think he is going to get the job done here. I do love Cowboy, and if he can go out on a win, more respect to him. I really have. I really have enjoyed Donald Cowboy Cerrone's career. I mean, he's fought for damn near 20 years. Like, dude, since I was a child, I've been watching this guy, and it's just cool. It's cool to still see him fight, but win or lose, I do agree. I think it is time to hang up the gloves, go be an actor now, go spend more time with your boy. And I know he got really emotional before he got sick in that last fight. He was really excited to have his kid there and, kind of show his son what he does for a living. But I think Lazone's probably going to get the job done, so I'm going to go 250 church coin on Lazone for the win.
All right, I agree with you, man. I just haven't seen what I want to see from Cowboy the last 5 or 6 fights. Like even that Conor fight. Like people were talking about this is Cowboy Cerrone. He's going to fuck Conor up. This is different. Then Conor goes and steamrolls him. And it's just, ever since then, it's been one after another of just bad fights from Cowboy. And I don't want to see, like, I love that he's fighting Joe Lozon. I hated that they actually tried making him fight Paddy Pimblett. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, they announced that fight. It was going to happen. I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know who freaked out I don't know if people were rioting in the streets over that. I do not want to see Cowboy go out bad. I love that he's fighting another legend. I love that it's a legend fight. I love that this is a retirement fight for him. And win or loss, Cowboy needs to walk away. I think it's too much for him. Age is definitely a factor here. I am not taking Cowboy Cerrone in this fight. I am actually shocked that he is the betting favorite at -170. I thought for sure it would be Joe Lozon. I'm also taking Joe Lozon. I think Joe Lozon's going to be better on the ground. I think he submits Cowboy.
All right.
So I'll take Joe for a 500 church win. Let's move on to the next matchup. We have Tim Means coming in at +190 to a -230 Kevin Holland. Kevin Holland, another welterweight matchup here with Tim Means. Very excited for this fight. This is an easy one for me. Kevin Holland, all day.
Yeah, but not to disrespect the savvy vet and Tim Means. I mean, he's on a bit of a win streak now. I believe he's won 3 or 4 fights in a row. He's looked really good as of late, beating a guy like Mike Perry, and then Strapoli, and then in 2021 beating Nicholas Dalby. But I will agree with you on this aspect. Kevin Holland is a step up in competition, especially in this welterweight division. After Kevin Holland dropped down from middleweight to a welterweight, looked really good against Alex Oliveira. Absolutely dominated that fight. And I do agree. I am leaning Kevin Holland here. I'm going to go Kevin Holland, and I'm going to put 460 church coin on Kevin for the win.
Kevin's got that sneaky power. He doesn't look like he's got that one-punch knockout power, but he absolutely does.
Right, and Tim has been put to bed before.
Yeah, so, I mean, with all due respect to Tim Means, I think this is a bad matchup for him. I think Kevin Holland's a better fighter overall. I think Kevin Holland will get the victory. I'm saying 2nd round KO, I'm thinking, or TK, or even submission. Kevin's, evolving his ground game a lot. I think Tim Means' best route to success is to take Kevin Holland down and try to submit him. Because historically we've seen Kevin Holland, when he's on his back, he's got no game.
Yeah.
0 game there, in fact. So if Kevin Holland gets on top, cool. He's going to win the fight, but he needs to stay out from under Tim Means. I am leaning Kevin Holland. I do believe he's a big betting favorite for a reason. I do think he's going to win this fight. I'm going to put Kevin Holland 500 church win.
All right.
Let's move on to the next fight. Joaquin Buckley at a +175 to a -210. Albert Duraev.
Yeah.
Duraev.
Yeah, well, I definitely agree with this line here because Albert, out of his 15 wins, 9 of them have come by submission, 3 by KO, TKO, and only 3 by decision. This guy finishes fights, and he primarily puts you to sleep or breaks your arm. On the side of Joaquin Buckley, one of the craziest knockouts in UFC history. He's a terrific striker, but my biggest fear here is as soon as Albert gets him to the ground, is he going to be able to implement that jiu-jitsu and submit him right away? I do think that's the case, so that's why I like this line a lot at -210 to a +175. But again, if you're looking for some underdog value here and you're looking for a guy to potentially knock out the other, no one can get the job done better than Joaquin Buckley. And for that reason and that reason alone, I'm going to go with the dog here. I think obviously if Albert takes him down, it's probably a wrap. But if Joaquin can catch him early, I think he's definitely got the potential to knock him out. I'm going to put 300 church coin on Joaquin Buckley for the KO.
All right. I'm leaning the Russian-sounding last name and the wrestler submission guy. It's easy as that for me. I think he's going to take Joaquin down. I think he's going to submit him. I do agree with this line at a -210. So I'm taking Duraev, 250 church coin. That will be my bet for this week. Let's move on to the next fight. Damir Ismagulov.
It's pretty good.
Ismagulov. I think I'm pretty close.
Ismagulov, yep, versus
Garam
Kutaladze.
Kutaladze? That's close enough. I think I'm pretty close.
Ismagulov is 23-1 in this lightweight division. Absolutely insane. That's just such a good record. In
Kutaladze.
Garam, I think this is his second fight in the UFC. Both these guys 30 and 31 years old. But Demir here is just absolutely on a tear. He wins primarily most of his fights via decision, but he dominates in very impressive fashion, beating guys like Joel Alvarez, Thiago Moises. I mean, this guy is the real deal here. I like Demir a lot in this fight. I'm going to go 1,700 church coin on Ismagulov for the victory, coming in at a favorite -170.
All right. I agree with you, Mason. I am also taking Ismagulov in this fight. I mean, Russian-sounding last name, dominant wrestler. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
I'm not going to put as much church coin on it as that, though. I'm going to take Ismagulov 500 church coin.
All right, and then we got the opening fight in this main card. Julian, the Missile Crisis Marquez, coming in at a dog, a +165. Very interesting against Gregory Rodriguez, who has looked absolutely phenomenal as of late. Coming in at a -195 favorite, damn near 2-1 favorite. Tabor, how do you see this fight going down?
Interestingly enough, this is a very good, well-matched up fight, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think the line's a little crazy. I mean, I get it. Rodriguez was on a streak, but so is Marquez. Marquez has looked fantastic in his last few matchups, in my opinion. The ground game's amazing. The hands are evolving to a whole new levels. I'm actually going to take the dog here to +165. I like Julian Marquez. I think he's going to get the victory. I don't know how. I'm just, my heart and my soul are telling me that he will get it done. And plus, the dude might call out Miley Cyrus again. And I'd love to see that matchup in the future.
Yeah, I like Julian Marquez here. His last 2 wins have come via submission. I think he's a great jiu-jitsu practitioner. Gregory Rodriguez definitely has the power to put his lights out here, but I definitely don't like how drastic this line is for Rodriguez. Even if you find value at a 2-1 favorite, I just don't see a lot when you have the ground game of Julian Marquez that is tried, true, and tested here at 9-2, coming in at 165. I'm going to go ahead and put 500 church coin on Marquez for the win. Or, excuse me, I did not bet. 500, yeah. Let's just do, I'm going to put 400 church coin on Marquez for the win.
All right, let's move on to parlay picks. My parlay is going to be 4-fight parlay this week. I am taking Calvin Kattar, Joe Lauzon, Kevin Holland, and Albert Duraev. I believe that is the only underdog in there is Joe Lauzon, so hopefully that helps my odds quite a bit. But I'm going to put 1,000 church coin on this parlay. It's 4-fight parlay. It should be a massive return for me, and I do think that's a fairly safe parlay. Like Duraev, Kevin Holland, Calvin Kattar. Like Kattar and Emmett is really the biggest one. Even though Kattar is the massive favorite, you really never know what's going to happen in that matchup.
Yeah. I'm going to actually stick with a 3-fight parlay here. I've got 2 favorites and 1 dog. So obviously the Calvin Kattar, Josh Emmett, Calvin Kattar coming in at -230. I'm going to throw him in my parlay. And then I'm going to take Ismagulov at a -170. I love that value there. I think he's a tremendous fighter. And then Julian Marquez is going to be my dog in this parlay. I think he can get it done if he can get this to the ground and potentially submit Gregory Rodriguez here, coming in at +165. I'm going to put 600 church coin on this 3-fight parlay.
All right. Shout out to the chats. Shout out to AJ Wolf and Ant W. Thank you so much for showing up again. Ant W is also coming into the chat and saying it's now or never for Emmett. He's closing in on 40. Absolutely. This could be his last run. And if he doesn't get past Emmett, it could be it for him. Yeah. I'm not saying he's going to retire. He might still stick around and take fights, but he'll probably be known as like a top 5 gatekeeper, unfortunately.
You know what? Real quick, fuck it. I forgot about Holland. Let me throw in Holland as well in my parlay. So that's the 4 I got.
Yeah. Yeah. So Cowboy was also in that Netflix movie with Mark Wahlberg. And W says, what was that one? That was the one where Wahlberg's in prison or whatever, and Post Malone's in there.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he had a little cameo in that. I mean, good for him. That's awesome. Like, he's able. This is what we always talk about with fighters. They don't get paid a ton of money, so it's really cool to see a guy like Cowboy Cerrone, pursue an acting career outside of that. and make money for his family in other ways. So, I mean, more power to him. This is what I want to see. I want to see fighters making money outside the UFC. You know, love him or hate him, Brendan Schaub did a really good job with that. You know, DC's done a really good job with that. So there's a lot of fighters who are starting to outsource and make money in other ways. So shout out to them.
Yeah. Guys, I don't want to make the announcement, like whether or not we will do a fight companion for this fight card coming up this weekend. I would lean that I mean, it's a great main event. It's a pretty good fucking card.
It's a great card.
If we can, let's do it. But if not, it's not the biggest deal ever. Next weekend, I definitely cannot. But this weekend, I can if we want to do it. So very excited for this. If we might do a fight companion, guys, stay tuned on our community page on YouTube, but also our Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. We will give you guys updates on whether or not we do a fight companion this weekend or not. We will update you guys as soon as possible. Thank you so much for sticking through with us. Last week we were having some technical difficulties. We were not able to live stream on YouTube.
Yeah, that
period.
was rough.
We couldn't even get uploaded on period. I tried syncing the audio and video up, but for some reason, dude, like I had it perfect in the first 10 minutes, like perfect.
Yeah, when that it's the bit rate and the frame rate.
It's weird.
So you have to like cut it every 10 minutes.
And that sounds horrible.
It is horrible. I've had to do it a few times, like back in the day for high side and stuff, and it's just like, fuck.
It fucking sucked because like I was off like 4 or 5 seconds by the time the end of the podcast ended. And I tried fixing it. I tried doing my best. But, you know, I'm not a fucking 5-star video editor here, guys. So, I mean, I tried my best. We didn't end up uploading it to YouTube. So if you want to listen to last week's show, it is on our audio-only podcasting platforms. We did get uploaded there, and we did get everything fixed. Obviously, we had a fight companion last night. So if you guys haven't checked that out, make sure you go and do it. Smash that like button. Subscribe down to the channel, all that kind of stuff. It was a lot of fun. Mason, what is on the agenda this week for Have You Seen It?
We're going to review Hustle this week. Adam Sandler film, Happy Madison. Tabor, you saw it as well.
It was good.
It's a really good film.
Really good.
I'm really excited to talk about it. I was pleasantly surprised. Adam Sandler, you know, people say
good.
whatever you want. He's a great actor.
He really is.
Legitimately really good. And yeah, you know, he does some goofy films, of course. Like, that's what he's done. That's what he's always known for. But he is a legit, really good actor. I mean, if you have not seen Uncut Gems, go watch it. One of my favorite Ep.124
still haven't seen
films.
it.
Dude, it's so good. It's so good. So we're going to review Hustle, and then we're going to go review the shit show known as Jurassic World Dominion. I got to go see it. I actually have to get out of here in like 15 minutes out of the studio to go see the film. I'm not looking forward to it. I've read reviews for it. People are saying it's uninspiring. It's goofy. It's lame. So I'm just really not excited to go see it. But it is what it is. I got to go sit in the theater for 2 hours and 45 minutes between trailers.
Those movies are like Kong versus fucking Godzilla. Like, all I want is CGI monsters killing each other. I don't want no fucking storyline with Millie Bobby Brown or whatever fuck her name is.
Yeah, with Godzilla. But the problem I have is like, dude, Jurassic Park, Steven Spielberg, the original one, everything about that film was awesome. The story was awesome. The dinosaurs were awesome. And it's just like they take these franchises and then they just try to do things that are just way too fucking
They just
big.
tried doing CGI showcases.
Yes. And I hate it. I hate it, dude.
Yeah.
I don't need to see dinosaurs with lasers on their head, like shooting people. And I'm like, what? Can we just stick to dinosaurs? Dinosaurs are cool with me.
Is that a Shark Tank?
Dude,
with
it's wild.
Freaking lasers
Freaking
on their head?
Yeah, this isn't Dr. Evil, you know, from freaking Austin Powers. It's crazy. Crazy.
I know people probably disagree with me, but Austin Powers, one of the best comedies ever.
Oh,
I'm just gonna
absolutely.
say, I fucking
Mike
love
Myers,
those movies.
yeah,
They're
they're
so funny.
Who's gonna disagree with you?
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people.
Austin Powers, I love that.
I
That's
love
one of some of
Austin
my favorite
Powers.
trilogies of all time.
Didn't Mikey just do another movie or something
The
like that?
Pentaverte, which is on Netflix now, which is Pentaverte. What was it? It's based on oh my gosh, why am I forgetting? But yeah, I haven't seen it yet. It's on Netflix, but I love Mike Myers, man. I love what he does. I'm glad to see him back. So
Absolutely. Shout out Mike Myers.
Yep.
Guys, we do have a Patreon. $5 a month gives you so much exclusive content. We did a second service Patreon exclusive podcast last night. It was a lot of fun doing that. So that will be updated on our Patreon. Also, $10 a month gets you into Church Coin competition. We need someone to bet alongside of us, guys. We need it. So get in there, hop in that competition. Bragging rights are on the line for that. $10 a month also gives you a 10% discount on Teespring merch. $15 a month gives you a 20% discount on the Teespring merch and also gets you in a Church Coin competition. Guys, go get yourself a sweatshirt, a t-shirt. There are all kinds of different designs and pieces of material there on our Teespring. We're constantly updating that. All of that money goes right back into the show. Thank you so much, everybody, for showing up. Once again, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at the Church of MMA. Guys, if you aren't following us, make sure you go and do it. We're posting funny memes, trying to make you guys laugh. Hit us up.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and listening to the Church of MMA podcast. My name is Mason Knight. That is Tabor Craig and Devin Davis on the ones and twos. And until next time.
Peace.